Yo, what's going on guys? In today's video we're going to be going over the top 5 best decks for the 20 win challenge in Clash Royale. So in the first match right here we're going to be using this really aggressive Goblin Jailbreak spam deck. I feel like it's a super good deck in the meta just to like counter the different Hog Rider decks and E-Giant decks that you guys might see in the challenge. E-Giant did get nerfed recently, but I still feel like it's a pretty strong deck, so you guys will definitely see some of it. I'm not really sure what our opponent's playing right here, but he does have the wall breakers as well, so it could be some type of Mega Knight minor deck if I had to guess, which is a pretty strong deck recently ever since the Mega Knight buff and the E-Giant nerf. So I'm going to go with another Drill right here. Drill's a super aggressive deck. The more aggressive you are, really the better value you get out of the card, so I feel like it's always good to be really aggressive. We do get one stab there even before his barbell does come down, and he's going to go with his Mega Knight right here. Inferno Tower is really good against it though, in really any type of beatdown deck, so should do a pretty good job at countering his Mega Knight right here. He spent the barbell and Bast though, so I don't really think he has enough elixir to support it very well. Should be able to pretty much fully counter with just our Inferno Tower. He will zap it. I'm not sure if it'll survive with enough HP to activate our King Tower off of it though, so I'm gonna have to just sell with that bandit right there. And I'm gonna go right back in it with another drill on his tower. Our bandit should be able to mostly kill his bandit, so it should be a pretty fine trade for us, I think. Just gonna log it back, make sure it fully dies here. Gonna go with the high bomber, kind of kiting his bats. We don't really have the best response to them right now. I'm gonna go with my late fire spirit here. Super clutch fire spirit there kind of saved us from taking like a ton of bat damage. And I'm gonna go with another drill right here. I know his best counter to it is Mega Knight, which costs 7 elixir, so I know he's not gonna have enough for his Mega Knight right away. Super good drill there. He's gonna get a couple shots before his bandit even reaches it. And the other goblin right there is gonna get 2 more shots. So you can really see how strong the goblin drill is as a win condition. Always gets that incidental chip damage somehow. So gonna kind of reset right here. It is almost double elixir right now. Probably gonna be a little bit harder to get damage as it hits double elixir. We do also have the potential for rocket cycle and stuff like that, which is always pretty good for us as well. Gonna go with this bandit right here at the bridge. Gonna kill his queen pretty much, I think. Just need like to log it. I think that should be able to pretty much take it out. And I'm gonna go with my bandit right here on his bandit. I don't really want to go with my skeletons in case he tries to like prediction zap on it. And that drill there got like 3 or 4 stabs as well, even against his Mega Knight, which is pretty crazy to be honest. So that's like a really broken interaction for us, I feel like. And he will go with his barbell here as well as his bats. I'm gonna try to go with this fire spear. Kind of mess up the fire spear right there. Doesn't really hit the bats or anything, but might be able to still defend right here. I'm gonna go with my bomber right here in front of our King Tower. Hopefully get it activated. Just barely dies too early though, so not ideal for us right here. But his tower is pretty much gone. Not really even sure what took his tower. I think one of our drills may have taken his tower right there, so that would be a good game. Alright, jumping in the next match right here, we're going to be using Giant Skeleton Hog Rider with Earthquake. Definitely one of the best decks in the game ever since the pretty big Giant Skeleton buff, and I feel like it has so much outplay potential, so it should be a very, very strong deck in the 20 win challenge. And in the match right here, we're going to be up against Remy Eli, who's probably the best minor wall breaker player in all of Clash Royale. Should be a very nice match right here. He surely does have a hard counter to us though, so not going to be easy at all. Maybe we can try to get some early damage though. That's why I went with my Giant Skeleton first play right there, just to hopefully kind of starting hand him and get some pretty nice early damage. Don't really do too much to him, but we do get some nice damage on his King Tower at least, which is always pretty good for us to get the King Tower damage, kind of threaten him for a 3 crown if he tries to pull too many of our Hog Riders towards his King. I'm going to go with my queen in the opposite lane right here. Just make sure we don't give him any type of fireball value on our tower, because I'm pretty sure he does run this deck with fireball. I'm going to be a little bit prepared with my queen ability right here, just in case he tries to fireball our queen. Yeah, really good ability right there, and we didn't have any Valkyrie in cycle. And he'll go with the set of late wall breakers right there, so that's a really good, nearly 1,000 damage for us from our queen right there. Pretty crazy, and going to put us in a really good lead right off the bat right here, so I think pretty good for sure, but it's going to be a pretty difficult matchup regardless, so I'm not really sure if we can maintain our lead very well, but gonna try my best. I might go with a little bit of an early Giant Skeleton right here, kind of bluff that we have a little bit more elixir than we actually have in our hand right now. And I'm just gonna kind of see what he's gonna play against it. We're probably pretty even on elixir right here, so I'm gonna go with my queen right here on his spear goblins. He also minor, so I'm gonna go with my skeletons right here. Also pretty good +2 elixir trade, and at least gonna deny most of the damage, hopefully. So he's probably going to have to fireball our queen, so I'm going to go with my Hog Rider right in the middle right here. Kind of weird, but just to make sure that it doesn't get hit by his Valkyrie, and should be able to maybe get some damage. He will NATO it just on time, but can get at least 2 shots on his King Tower, which is always really good for us. Kind of slowly but surely DPSing down his King Tower. I'm going to play my Fire Spirit in the back right here. We'll go with the Spear Goblins, so I'm going to log them away as well. And I'm probably just going to set up another giant skeleton pretty soon, but I'm going to go with my queen first to counter his miner since I know he doesn't have any fireball in his cycle. Don't really have to worry too much about him hitting our tower. He'll go with another fireball, though he did cycle back to it using those wall breakers. I'm going to go with that fire spirit right here just in case he tries to magic archer it, but luckily for us he doesn't. And I'm going to earthquake his tower as well. We do have the queen on the field, so should have a little bit of a faster cycle than normal. Going to have the 3-card cycle. I'm going to go with the Hog Rider right here. Oh, it's really good to go with your Hog Riders behind the giant skeletons, just making sure they get tanked for pretty nicely and should allow you to get a lot of damage on their towers and stuff like that. Or just like force out a ton of elixir. I'm going to go with my Fire Spear on his wall breakers. I'm also going to go with my Hog Rider right here, kind of blocking a potential magic archer or something like that. He'll nade away each time, but always going to get that pretty good damage on his king tower. And he'll go with this magic archer plus Valkyrie right there, but going to be able to log it back and kind of knock it out of the tower range right there. And I think the giant skeleton should tank for the queen just a little bit. Don't think the death bomb actually reached his tower though, so gonna have to still get some damage on him some way. Gonna go with the queen ability right here. And he is kind of catching up little by little, but we're always getting some earthquake damage every now and then. Also a really good fire spear right there, kind of dodging his magic archer shot. I'm gonna earthquake plus log his magic archer. Always really good for us each time, and do get one hog shot in his tower. Okay, Hog Rider is actually doing so much damage to his king tower. Wow, that just put him to 500 HP. So we need like 3 more earthquakes to be able to 3-crown him. This could be a really close match right here. Don't really think we can take out his right side princess tower too well. Gonna have to try to go for the 3-crown right here. Gonna need to cycle 2 more earthquakes right now. Might be a pretty close match right here as he starts to like pressure us a ton. But I think maybe we can do it. It is gonna be triple elixir here in a few seconds. So if we can get those 2 earthquakes down before he starts spamming too much. He'll go with his Valkyrie. I'm gonna go with my cannon. And yeah, I think we might actually have it right here. It's super rare to actually get a 3-crown with any type of cycle deck like this, so pretty surprising, but that will be a good game. Alright, hopping in the next match right here, we're going to be using Logbait. I feel like Logbait has made a pretty big comeback ever since the Mighty Miner has been released. And I know a lot of you guys don't actually have champions unlocked, but you can actually run champions in the 20-win challenge, even if you aren't level 14, so it should be a pretty nice deck for you guys to try out. Not really sure what our opponent's playing right. He does have like a pretty weird miner graveyard deck, I guess. You never really see that combo, but it's going to be pretty hard for us to defend without having like any guards or anything in this deck. I'm going to go with my Goblin Barrel right here. Try to like outcycle him, hopefully, like for whatever Goblin Barrel counter he may have in his deck. I'm going to Mighty Miner ability right here. Should be able to do a lot of damage to those barbarians and also kind of hit the Mega Minion as well. Pretty good stuff for us right here. But honestly, the real main use of having the Mighty Miner in your bait deck is just to make sure you have the 3-card cycle whenever you play him down on the field to kind of help you outcycle their Goblin Barrel counters. So I guess this guy does have arrows in his deck. He just arrowed our princess though, so should be able to get hopefully a little bit of damage here with our Fire Spirit plus Barrel Push. It is going to be very hard to stop his graveyards though, so not really feeling the greatest about this matchup. I'm going to kind of save my cannon right here for his graveyard pushes, so I'm going to go with my Mighty Miner here instead against his Dark Prince, and we can always go with our Mighty Miner ability if we have to kind of defend something in the opposite lane. And we'll have to respond to it as well with probably like barbs or something. He'll go with his Miner instead though on defense, which is pretty nice for me. We can just go with our Mighty Miner ability, can also force out the Mega Minion, super nice for us. We might try to graveyard here, but at least we do have the princess down, kind of giving us a little bit of field control. Should be able to counter this pretty well, I think. He doesn't really have any poison or anything to really kill our cannons, so should do a pretty nice job right here. He does get only 1 skeleton hit, so that's a pretty successful defense. I'm going to go with my Goblin Bear right here. I think he's pretty low on elixir, so I don't really know if he's going to be able to stop everything too well. I guess I was kind of wrong about that, but still going to have a pretty nice interaction here with our Princess and Fire Spirit, pretty much fully countering his Barbarians. So I'm going to set up my Mighty Miner right now, make sure we have the 3-card cycle, and we're going to try to kind of outcycle his arrows, hopefully. He'll go with his Dark Prince right there. Should be able to get some damage though with our 1 Goblin in the back right there. Going to get a very nice 2 stabs for us. And I'm going to pre-set up my cannon right here just to kind of block a potential graveyard or something like that. He'll go with the graveyard in the opposite lane instead, which is pretty interesting by him. Not really sure why he did that. Don't really think it's going to do too much for him since that tower has like so much more HP than the right side tower. Just going to barely distract his Mega Minion right here with our skeletons, and I think the Goblin Barrel did get a little bit of chip damage right there, so we're just need like 2 more rockets at this point to finish him off. And he's kind of defending pretty well, but he's always taking little bits of damage by us outcycling him. He'll go with his Dark Prince right there. He does fully counter our barrel, but gonna have a pretty nice princess right here, kind of forcing out a lot of elixir, I guess. And Kenny should do a nice job against his dark prince. I'm gonna go with my mighty miner right here, hopefully catching his miner. Doesn't really catch it, but still gonna do a little bit of work, kind of distracting his skeletons. And I'm gonna go with my fire spirit skellies, distracting his mega minion as well. So I don't think he's quite in log plus rocket range. We need like 2 more logs, and like now 1 more log plus a rocket. That should finish him off, but looks like our goblin here might get 1 stab on his tower. Actually get like 4 stabs or like 3 stabs or something like that. So just gonna rocket here and gonna finish him off, and that'll be a good game. Alright, in the next match right here, we're gonna be using Miner Mortar, which is a very good deck for the 20 win challenge, just to counter different Logbait decks and also some goblin drill decks. So I'm gonna go with my Miner plus Fire Spirit first play right here. You're gonna get nearly 400 damage on his tower. Miner definitely doesn't heal towers, so yeah, pretty good for us. He'll go with his bowler in the back. Seeing the bowler, it could be some type of graveyard deck most likely. Could also be a Lumberloon, but I don't really think any Lumberloon decks run Skelly King. So he'll distract it with his tombstone. Might try to go with my queen right here, hopefully kill his bowler before it ends up killing our mortar. Might have to pop my ability as well. He'll go with his poison and tornado, so probably gonna counter everything, but he had to spend so much elixir right there, and he has no tornado in cycle for our miner. So I'm gonna go with my fire spirit right here, hopefully get some damage on his tower. Yeah, I can't really respond to it. I know fire spirit did get nerfed recently, but I feel like it's still nearly as good as it was before. The only real interaction that changed was that it no longer can one-shot lava pups, which is pretty hurtful, but definitely still have a good chance to beat lava with like the archer queen and stuff like that. I know fireball did get nerfed as well, but it's still a pretty strong spell against nearly everything. So I'm gonna go with a pretty high Valkyrie right here, make sure this bowler doesn't really cross the bridge and he can't really go in for a graveyard or anything like that right now. I'm probably gonna use my queen ability since he wasted his Electro Wizard as well. Maybe keep our queen at pretty healthy HP. He'll go with this Skelly King right here. Shouldn't be enough though. I think he's still gonna have to spend like a tombstone or something. Okay, he actually has Executioner right here. Executioner definitely is a very strong card ever since the buff, so gotta be a little bit careful of that. But I think it's not really the greatest against Mortar. It's pretty good against it, but pretty easy to kill the Executioner with our Archer Queens. He's gonna get the better of that interaction there, but still gonna be in a pretty good spot overall. Gonna fireball his tombstone right here, get some free tower damage. Could be a little bit hard when he starts stacking the lanes with like his bowlers and stuff like he's gonna do right here, but we also have a pretty good chance to get some minor chip damage here and then. Also a fire spirit show is kind of carry for the offensive end. I'm gonna go with my log right here on his E-Wiz, keep our queen pretty healthy. Since he poisoned our queen, I'm gonna go with my fireball on his bowler, and I think queen ability should be able to hopefully finish off his bowler before it really does anything right here. Queen will target his execution right there for a little bit of damage, pretty good for us here. I'm gonna go with my Valkyrie right on top of his executioner and Skelly King. I'm also gonna log his graveyard, make sure it doesn't get too much damage on our tower. We don't really have the best graveyard responses, but we're still defending pretty okay just by pressuring him a lot. I'm gonna go with my mortar right here as well, hopefully get some damage while he's kind of focused on that miner. Unfortunately doesn't run up for an E-Wiz right away though, so we're gonna have to probably go with my queen ability right here in a few seconds, make sure that his bowler doesn't kill our queen as well. And his poison didn't hit our tower right there, so that's at least one thing that's pretty nice for us here. Gonna go with another miner. His Skelly King doesn't end up distracting, which is always really good for us. Pretty good fireball value right here. It's pretty hard to get damage besides our fireball, so we're gonna have to really take any damage opportunity that we can get. I'm gonna go with a high Valkyrie right here in his bowler, make sure it doesn't really cross the bridge, but he will go with the pretty weird NATO right there. Gonna go with the fire spear on his last 2 skeletons, make sure they don't chip away too much. Unfortunately, the Archer Queen did die right there. Didn't really expect his Skelly King to do that much damage to everything, so maybe should have went with my queen ability right there. Miner will get some damage though in the back. Should get like 4 shots on his tower. Well, it's pretty good for us. So we really just need to make sure we get some more miner chip right now. Can't really chip away with our mortar, so I was gonna have to rely on this miner right here. I'm gonna go with the mortar since he wasted his poison, and I don't really think he has any great counter in cycle. Pretty good prediction fireball right there. Gonna hit his Skelly King. It's so late in the game that it doesn't really matter if you get too much value out of it or not. Just have to make sure it hits his tower each time. And he actually misses the NATO right there towards his king tower, so I'm gonna go with my fireball, and that probably will be a good game. Yeah, really nice win. Alright, so the final deck of today's video is going to be RG Cycle. A very strong deck in the meta as well, just to counter the different Mega Knight decks going around. Does very well against almost all Mega Knight decks. So our opponent right here is going to have Mother Witch. Mother Witch is a pretty rare card to see. Not really too sure what he's playing. Might be some type of RG deck, could also be Graveyard. He will let our Ghost get a couple shots on his tower for the King Tower activation. I'm going to go with my RG in the back right here. Against mirror matchups, it's always good to go with your RG in the back as quickly as possible. And luckily our Fisherman does pull his Fisherman right there, so should be able to hopefully take it off the board. I'm going to go with a kind of high Archer Queen here just to avoid like a Fireball on our tower if he does have Fireball in his deck. I'm not really sure if he has Fireball or Lightning, so kind of be a little bit careful. Unfortunately, it's really hard to kill our Zappies, or to kill his Zappies, I mean, with the Lightning in our deck instead of like a Fireball, but I feel like Lightning is a little bit better in this deck just to counter the Inferno Tower decks and the Tesla decks and stuff like that. And you will still have to spend something on our Archer Queen here. Unfortunately, it has Log It before we get the ability off, but still gonna at least force out quite a few Elixir from him. So I'm gonna go with my Ghost in the back here. Ghost is really nice to kind of force your opponent into awkward cycles. And I'm going to go with my RG in the back once again. So when you're playing RG, it's almost always better to go with your RG in the back instead of right at the bridge unless you're facing some type of like Sparky deck or Golem deck or something like that. So I'm going to log away his Zappies right here. I know 2 logs does kill Zappies, and also we can try to hopefully take them out with this Archer King right here. But also Fisherman away his Skeleton King, maybe get our Queen to lock onto his Zappies instead. Our Fisherman does also distract his Fisherman, so that's pretty solid for us here, I'd say, and we'll still have to spend something on our Archer Queen once again. I'm gonna kind of hover the ability right here, make sure that he can't just like log it away. We'll go with his Tombstone on it. I'm not really sure if it'll be enough though. And yeah, still will get like 2 shots on his tower. That's very good for us. So yeah, definitely a pretty hard matchup right here. We're making the really good plays right here with our really good Ghosts and our really good RG placements and everything like that. We'll get a high Fisherman off on our RG just to be able to get like maybe 1 shot on his tower. I'm not really too sure. Yeah, I do get that 1 nice shot on his tower. Always really good for us. I'm gonna go with the kind of low Queen right here. Hopefully kill his Skeleton King. And I think E-Spirit should be able to fully counter his Mother Witch. Super good for us. He'll go with his RG. I'm gonna go with my Fisherman to kind of pull it into the Archer Queen. And we can also log it back. Should be able to pretty much fully counter it. I think might get like 1 shot. Okay, doesn't even get any damage right there. That's really nice for me. And I think this RG should be able to kind of destroy this Tombstone. Maybe get to his tower as well. Gonna Lightning his Zappies right here since we're up quite a few Elixir. RG does get 1 shot on his tower, really good for us. I'm also gonna go with my Queen ability right here, maybe force out even more Elixir. Okay, so we're just getting like a couple more Lightnings and like 1 RG shot to finish him off, so I'm gonna kind of apply a little bit more pressure right here in a second. I'm gonna be a little bit careful though before I go in with my RG. You always want to make sure you have like kind of field control before you go in with an RG, so kind of want to be a little bit more careful right here. I'm gonna go with my Fisherman on his RG, kind of pull it towards the center, and looks like our second Fisherman is gonna pull his RG as well. Pretty funny for us. And yeah, gonna go with the RG right here at the bridge. Gonna also log his Skeletons away, and I think Lightning should be able to finish it if we can cycle back to it right here. Maybe our RG can even take it. He will log it though, so gonna Lightning, and that'll be a good game. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!